Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. Albert Einstein says, everybody is a genius. But if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it will live its whole life believing that it's stupid. This is the problem with our education system. We are constantly measured, not by our strengths, but by our weaknesses. Yes, I was one of the students who questioned, why do I need to learn this? What value of this is going to be in my life? Why do I need to know trigonometry, cosines and whatnot? Why do I need to know how a hailstone is formed? How is this going to benefit my life? It only last year made me realize something. I loathe math. I mean, come on, who doesn't? At one point, while I was doing my graphic design, I realized the importance of geometry in my design. But was it too late? And was this the point? Or was this enough? No. The subjects we learn in high school does not prepare us for life. Life is for living. And the only way to learn is to go outdoors. Nature is the only space where we can learn without being judged or things such as grades. There's no silly terms like class aggregate. That is the most ridiculous term I've ever heard. Do you know the word aggregate comes from the Latin root gregarious, which means to flock? How silly is that? We're in a world where we measure our success by how well we stand out. Yet in school, we are put in a group where we measure by the average achievement of others. We are not average. Every moment in nature is a learning experience. That's how we learn. That's how we grow. And it doesn't judge you for it. Being out in nature is healthy, both mentally and physically. Don't tell the guy that because you'll never go outside. Every step you take outside, every deep breath you put into your body is fresh oxygen, helps rejuvenating your cells, helps every single cell in your body function better. When you're out in nature, your mind wanders. Have you ever had that moment when your mind wanders in such a deep thought that you don't know how you got there, and then start wondering, how did I get there? I absolutely loved that moment. I recently started boot camp, which is a whole other form of exercise. And although I love working out in a heated yoga room, working outdoors is a whole other experience. There I am next to the mountain, 6:30 every second morning, working out. I love this because it makes me work harder and it makes me more connected to nature. Now, back to education. As most of you thinking, how am I going to push you over to my hippie ways and peace, love, and nature and all that? Well, there's simple learning things that help me along. Things like hiking. Hiking taught me botany. The other day I was hiking in Pinelands with my friend who was horticulture. And he was pointing out different plants. And he was like, smell this buku, it's amazing. And look at this flower, and look at that flower. And it was so inspiring. You don't learn that in a classroom. Another thing while hiking is geology. The rocks, the sands, the stones, the mountains. The mountains, Gandalf, the mountains. We are so blessed to live in Cape Town where we are spoiled with the amount of nature around us. When I was in Series the end of last year, I went to the local museum, and there I read up on the Cedarburg Mountains. Do you know that it's one of the largest mountain ranges in the country? And it's just an hour out of Cape Town. We learn things by getting out there. And then while driving through the Cedarburg Mountains, it made me humble as a thought, looking up at this grandeur of mountains. And I'm this smaller. It made me feel that even though you might feel insignificant, you just put everything in small pieces and you see the bigger picture. Another favorite pastime of mine is fishing. And even though I don't do it as much as I like, I absolutely love it. Fishing taught me patience. You don't learn it any other way. You also learn all the sciencey stuff, like tides, the moon, and that's just by studying charts. When do I want to catch my fish? What's the ideal time? That is the goal, and what do I need to do to get there? It also taught me conservation. When I was a little kid, my dad drove us into us, and he was the SA angler. We grew up being conservative, considering the nature. And I was a little kid walking along a riverbank in Durban in past fishermen. And I had this immense urge to pick up these tiny, undersized fish and just tuck it back in the water and give it another chance. This was the first time I felt immense passion. Emotion I never felt before without being completely selfless about it. This is not something you learn in the classroom. As I said, I do yoga, and I have been doing yoga for about 2 years. Yoga taught me a few little skills that I do have the power to make it happen. It empowers you to push the limits, it challenges you, and it also creates space. Now, a lot of people just judge me. They're fascinated by how do I do everything I love and how do I keep so active. It's because yoga helps me learn that I can create space and time. So when someone tells me, oh, I don't have time to do something, that's nonsense. You create the time. It's that simple. Another sport that I'm getting into now is surfing. And by surfing, I mean taking my bodyboard to Newsomberg and acting like I'm doing something that's fabulous. The other day, on Sunday actually, I went to Newsomberg with my board ready, and the waves were flat. Again, patience kicked in. So there I was lying on the ocean on my board, completely bored, and waiting. Or I almost fell asleep. But then my mind started wandering, and out of nowhere, the most beautiful wave picked up. This made the day completely worth it. Surfing is also teaching me the geography part of things. Also, again, the tides, but wind and swell. And even though I don't know what a swell is, I know it's important, and I am getting to it. You don't learn that in the classroom. Traveling is another thing. Next month, I'm traveling to Vietnam. Completely random, love the surprise expression because no one goes there. The reason why I'm saying Vietnam, firstly it is random, and I love that, is because I want to be culture shocked, and I want to get inspired. I'm going there with a mandate to learn the culture. I know nothing about Vietnam, besides that there was a war and the food wasn't. Going there for the culture, the heritage, and the history. And of course, the food. I'm also going there alone, which is going to give me the opportunity to meet people from all over the world and tour the country and learn. You don't learn that in the classroom. So, are you a believer yet? Go outside, smell the air, and learn all the boring subjects you learned in high school. Math, science, geography, biology, and history. And then maybe we'll start appreciating what we learned in high school. And maybe we can teach our kids to do the same, appreciate and understand. And perhaps they will then see what all the fuss is all about.